Welcome to this ToolHound Learning Center video on using alternate or supplemental IDs, as well as barcodes or QR codes to identify inventory. An alternate ID for tools or equipment could be a legacy brass tag, or etched number, or a serial number. For vehicles or heavy equipment, this might also be a VIN, license plate, or a unit number. For hardware like laptops, this could also be the MAC address. For small tools and consumables, the most common alternate IDs are UPC codes for multiple manufacturers under a single part number or a vendor part number. Let's look at how to add alternate IDs to serialized and non-serialized inventory. We'll add the serial number for a scissor lift as an alternate ID. Start by looking up the primary ID for the scissor lift. Copy the serial number from the General tab, click the Alternate ID tab, then click plus. Paste the serial number into the Item ID column, then enter a description and click Save. We can also add the unit number as an alternate ID. Click plus, type in the unit number in the Item ID column, enter the optional description, and click Save. Keep in mind that all item IDs must be unique, whether they're primary or alternate. An alternate ID cannot appear as a primary ID elsewhere. Let's search for the scissor lift using the unit number. Type it in the primary ID field and click Lookup. The possible matches pop-up shows only the primary ID. Only one of them is a scissor lift. Now let's search for the serial number entered as the alternate ID. Enter it in the primary ID field and click Lookup. Bulk, consumable, and non-stock parts handle alternate IDs slightly differently. We'll look up a small can of WD-40. Let's add the UPC code as an alternate ID, so that way when we're issuing it out, we can scan it directly off the can. We'll click the Alternate ID tab, click plus, enter the UPC code in the Item ID field, type the description, and click Save. Now we can search for the WD-40 by entering the UPC code in the Item ID field before clicking Lookup. Let's look at how to use these alternate IDs when checking out and returning inventory. We'll issue some inventory out to Elias. He wants 5 cans of WD-40, so we'll scan the UPC code and change the quantity to 5. When we retrieve the key fob for the scissor lift, we notice the QR code has been damaged. So we'll use the lookup and we'll do a search for the partial serial number. And we select the scissor lift to add to the transaction. We'll disregard the service due message for the scissor lift. Then we save the transaction with the mix of alternate and primary IDs. On the Serialized Items page, we'll search by that same partial serial number. Clicking the Transaction History tab, we see the last transaction. On the Part Numbers page, we'll look up the 6-ounce can of WD-40. The Transaction History tab shows the last transaction, but note in the first column, the item ID is the UPC code. Elias is returning the unused WD-40 and the scissor lift. As we replace the cans of WD-40, we scan the shelf label and update the quantity being returned. Next, we type in the serial number from the key fob of the scissor lift. We set it to one side to replace the damaged QR code later, and we save the return. We've mixed and matched our primary and alternate IDs on the issue and return transactions, but as we check each item, the transactions are reconciled. The WD-40 shows 5 out and 5 in. And the scissor lift is back in stock with the transaction history showing both the issue and the return. Thanks for watching this video from the ToolHound Learning Center. For any questions, contact our support team, and remember, subscribe and hit the notification bell.